Good morning from Italy. In today's video we're going to be meeting the famous Luigi Crescenzi, and he invites us to his house to look at some of his Leica cameras and cases. In today's video I'm going to show you some vintage Leica cameras, and yes, I accidentally bought myself a black paint vintage Leica too. Let's get into the video. Hey guys, Matt here from MrLeica.com. To explain how this happened, I was teaching in Italy a multi-day workshop for a photographer flying in from LA, and he already had a Luigi case, and so he reached out to him and said, "Hey Luigi, I'm in town, can we meet up?" So thanks to John for organising all of this, and I just basically tagged along. It was such an amazing day. Luigi first invented the electric scooter, which you could see behind him. That was a modern one, but he's got his vintage one outside, and his late wife was a beautiful model, and you can see here some of the photos that he had on his coffee table. So Luigi is a ex-Leica dealer / collector, so he has a lot of cameras and near unlimited knowledge. I accidentally bought a few Leica cases and a Leica camera from him. He was very kind enough to sell us a few, and all that coming up. So first let's look at the Luigi cases. So if you know anything about Leicas and you've been in the Leica bubble for a long time, you'll know that the Luigi cases are some of the best cases you can buy for Leica cameras. He makes cameras for pretty much all Leica models, from the very early ones such as the 1930 Leicas I like, all the way through to like the modern Leica SLs and Leica Qs.
They make many colors.
Yeah, I see on your website you have a lot. As you hear Luigi there in the background, so he has got a website with everything listed. It is a slightly more vintage style website, probably a little bit like my blog, but all the information is there. So if you need to search for a particular thing, do have a dig on his website and you will find it. You will find example photos showing all the different colours. This kind of, say for the M11 that John was looking at for his cameras, you can get 3 styles of back. So you can have like backless, so you can see the LCD. You can have a hinge back and a removable back. So something for everybody. Be careful if you're buying cases for your vintage cameras, because there's lots of different size Leica 3 cameras. So this one's got an extra little strap there because there's a gap here, you see. And that's like an extra safety measure so the camera can't fall out. This one's got no securing on the top and no securing on the bottom, but there's such a tight fit it's never really going to fall out. Or you can pay, I think he said €60 for a screw, which then screws into your the case into the camera, so it's like 100% secure. And it's much better than the original Leica cases, because the original Leica cases have got a little thumb screw sticking out the bottom, so it doesn't sit flush, it kind of sits on an angle. Well, Luigi's design is a flush screw, which I think is a brilliant design. I asked him to stamp my cases, so they are official Luigi cases. He says the problems in recent years is basically there's so many companies have just copied his cases. You can obviously find them now much cheaper, probably in China for a fraction of the cost, but they're not the same quality as what you're getting from Italy. So I was happy to spend a bit more money and get some like best of the best cases while they're still available. Here's me looking very happy as now a proud owner of my first Luigi case for my 1931 Leica. Okay, that's enough on cases. Now let's look at base plates for Leica M cameras.
Base plate for all the digital Leica.
And what is the price for these?
260.
Okay, if people are interested, I tell people for you. So for all of you Leica M shooters, you may recognise the design of the base plate from your camera, and this is what Luigi makes for all the other cameras, M8, M9, etc. So if you want a quick release, easy access to your SD card and battery, check out Luigi's M8 base plates, if I can say that.
Allora, those are my best 3G. Was very collectible, but now people doesn't understand. So this is the only screw mount Leica which has 2 viewfinders, brilliant finder. I don't know how do you say.
Yeah.
You can get the 4.8, 900 around, but not so much perfect. If it's perfect. If there's a dent, costs a lot less. This is the Leica 3 with the strap.
This one is older.
A lot older.
Yeah, much older.
This is pre-war. This is was made a little before M3, but also after. And the number, look, the number is above M3 700,000. This is 9A06. Then when the M3 was already sold a lot.
Okay, so just to explain a little bit further, this is a Leica M3, this is a Leica 3G. Both of these were in production at the same time. This was the last Leica 3 camera before they were all discontinued. So think of it perhaps something like the Leica SL line and the Leica M line, both on the shelves in the shops at the same time. The main difference is, I have done a video on this before and I can link it at the end, but in brief, the Leica M camera for me is faster to focus because it's a combined viewfinder rangefinder. So I tend to use this for my portraits and my model stuff. And the Leica 3 cameras are smaller, so I prefer the Leica 3 cameras for, say, my travel cameras and street photography. If you want to see what's possible with a 70-year-old camera, the picture I'm showing on the screen at the moment was shot to my Leica M3 around 2 weeks ago. And it's pretty impressive what you can do with these 70-year-old cameras. If you want to know the difference between a Leica 3G, which as Luigi says is the best of the Leica 3 cameras, because being the last one it had the most features. I'm just looking on the top and it's got more features than the earlier ones. The main difference, this is a Leica 3G, this is a Leica, which one's this? 2F. Just think of this as most of the other Leica 3 cameras, and this is the Leica 3G. The main difference is, if you look on the viewfinder on the front, most Leica 3 cameras have a very small viewfinder and only a 50mm frame line. The Leica 3G has got 50mm and 90mm frame line, giving you a bigger viewfinder, as Luigi mentioned, and it's parallax corrected, the same as Leica M cameras. Okay, let's get back to Luigi.
You know probably, Wetzlar auction.
Yeah, you know the auction.
Was mine, but not, I don't get I have sold that 140 millions of lire on 96, this camera.
Okay.
And now each Leica Zero of the 12 as known, cost about 2 millions. Then they made about 370, 400 anastigmat lens after the Leica Zero, Leica 1A with anastigmat lens, which now goes to 40, 50,000. Then they made about 800, continuing the numbers, L Max, before the name L Mar was introduced. The optical is different, a little different, seems the same. LMAX are less than 800, but many have been transformed in Leica 2, like this. Because when Leica introduced the rangefinder, the owner of the Leica without rangefinder sent to Wetzlar to add the rangefinder conversion, and now to be used is better, but the collectible are few. You know all that.
Okay, so just to try to explain what Luigi just said for those of you that didn't quite catch it. Early cameras such as my 1931 Leica 1, Leica 1C, I've got a viewfinder but no rangefinder. It's on the top, you've got no rangefinder. You have got a rangefinder, but it's a separate stick, it's not built in. When they then released the Leica 2 cameras, the Leica 2 cameras such as this Leica 2D, I believe it is, the Leica 2D now has built-in rangefinder and viewfinder. And so people that already own Leica cameras sent their Leica 1s back to Wetzlar in Germany and said, hey guys, can you fit me this kind of top plate with a viewfinder and rangefinder combined? Now because of this, when it comes to collectors, if a lot of the old cameras were converted to the viewfinder rangefinder, they're no longer in the original state, and so they're no longer as valuable as collector's pieces. That's what Luigi is getting at.
I have an LMAX, all original Leica LMAX.
Yeah, so better than just Leica. It's a specific case for this camera.
I have a name, I think Trix, I don't remember, because Leica gave a name with 5 letters to each item. Those seem chrome, but it's not chrome. It's the very, very rare aluminium version. They made aluminium in order to more light the camera instead of brass. Rare is in the book. It's not my...
Yeah.
I remember because now I see that it's not of course, the mushroom. Let me check if it works. This is made in the first year of production and was right, 1925, first year. They started from 130, the first anastigmat, and ended the first year with the number 986. This is 821. First year. Look at the production. You have a good side. Ken, this is for you.
Thanks so much.
The picture is mine, of course. I was writing articles. Every time they make an ad, they send me the copy.
Ah, that's really nice. And it's Forbes.
Yeah, just look it up.
Wow, cool.
No problem.
When I say yes, I don't cry. I will cry after,
After
you
we
go away with the helmet. First 250 made by Oscar Barnek, the only one without a slow speed and completely different top. You can find it in the books.
And this was your camera?
Yes, yes. I sold it to a museum in Amsterdam about 10 years ago.
So firstly, a huge thanks to Luigi for inviting us into his home. We spent several hours with him, more than several hours, looking at all his different Leica cameras and Leica cases. I then decided to buy a case for my Leica 1 because the problems with Leica 1s is they have no strap lugs. I quite liked the idea of wearing it around my shoulders and just be very minimal but have a camera on me, and I couldn't do that because I didn't have a strap that would fit this camera. Once I was with Luigi, I felt like I needed to get one of the famous Luigi cases with built-in strap, and they're so pretty, and they smell so nice. If you had smell vision, every time you bring the camera up to your nose, it's like, ooh, that smells really good. And it makes you want to take even more cameras. This is not a sponsored video, and I did pay for my own hard-earned cash for this case. This is probably my favourite camera, even though it's not the camera I use the most. So after helping John, I was like, Luigi, do you happen to have any affordable Leica 2 cameras, black paint Leica, where it's got a rangefinder and a viewfinder that you'd like to sell? And he brings one out, and he tells me a price, and I can tell you it was he offered it me for €600 without a lens for his most bashed up, in terms of marked black paint Leica 2 camera. And so my idea was sometimes this isn't ideal because it's got no rangefinder. I tend to shoot it at f8 to f11 and then everything's in focus and it's very easy. By having a rangefinder, I can shoot an f2 lens or even an f1.8 lens. This will become my everyday carry is the plan for mostly non-portraits, but I'll try and do a portrait shoot with it as well. I have put a roll of film through it. Do be careful, you can't really test until you put a roll of film through a Leica 3 camera as to whether or not there is the chance of pinholes in your shutter, which is like lots of holes, lots of white dots when you get your film back. So it is a bit of a risk buying a vintage camera because it could have holes in the shutter and then you need a new shutter. This one seems to be pretty good. I think the slower shutter speeds are a bit slow, but it seems to be usable. So I shot a roll of film. I'll try and develop it tonight after this video, and fingers crossed there's no holes in the shutter, and yeah, we're good to go. I have done a really detailed blog post on Leica 3 cameras before. I can put a link to that below if you're interested. And finally, the one question I've already started being asked is, hey Matt, can I fit Leica M lenses via an adapter to Leica screw mount cameras? The answer is no. You can fit screw mount lenses to M mount cameras, but you can't fit M mount lenses to screw mount cameras. And with that, again, a huge thanks to Luigi. Such an amazing day. I will put links below to related videos or link them next so you can watch those. And as always, a huge thanks to my amazing Patreons.